What's going on, everybody? Emo here today, and we're talking about the new one, and we called it right. If you've been following with me along for these card of the weeks, we knew Glaciella. We didn't know, but we had a suspicion, right? Glaciella is the card of the week. Rochelle's here to tell us about it. Very interesting card. Lots of nice things to say. Apparently, she is a main character in the story, and she has her own story arc, so that's cool. You know me, I love water cards. This one is going to be no exception. As far as the art goes, the War of the Visions art is always very cool. But yeah, so 3-drop Glaciella was that. Forward Valkyrie FFBE 7,000. You can pay with Crystal instead of S when paying for the special abilities of category FFBE characters you control. When Glaciella enters the field, gain a Crystal, and then Surefire Burst. It's an S or Crystal, right? And then 1 water, 1 colorless. Choose a forward, deal it 2,000 damage for each character you control. Very interesting card. Rochelle goes on to talk about... I haven't even read some of this, honestly, I'm not going to lie. But I know it talks about mixing it, some of the options that you have for FFB stuff, which we're going to go over completely. I think this one is probably the one that's most exciting for me. I love this rain. Physalis is also a very good choice. And as much as I love this card, we never got to see it do a lot. But things might change, I guess. So that's very interesting. I'm still convinced we can make this work, but we need a lot of time to set up. And the meta doesn't really lean itself to that. But also talks about combinating the crystals and stuff. So Agrius, the new Agrius, of course. And then, Laswell and Control and some kind of water ice knights list. I'm actually thinking water fire knights, right? Because we already have the searchers for the rain and the whatchamacallit. The fire rains, and then anything, the Beatrix and stuff. We have the I'm blanking on his name. To Gawain. That's who. That's just about it, man. It's a really cool card. It has a lot of potential. I think this is the most important part that she talks about. As mentioned, there will be plenty more FFB characters in Rebellion's Call, allowing you to seek out other potential strategies of elements for Glaciella. And then also, we'll talk about the teaser for next week. But this card's super cool. Let's take a look at this stuff, right? So these are all of our current FFBE S ability options. Now, this last one hasn't seen play in a long time, but the ice, fire, water thing isn't out of the realm of possibilities. But choose 2 forwards, the AK, and to the first one, don't freeze the second one. I think this is, again, the best option, right? Giving everything haste for 1 crystal is great. So very understanding. And then undermine, being able to undermine for crystal and 2, it's going to be super easy to undermine a lot. This is a board. This card clears boards again, like without even attacking this time. So I'm confident this is going to go up in price. So if you don't have your Reigns or foil Reigns, maybe pick them up now. Just calling this now. This is an interesting one. We have this card, unfortunately never saw play with like amazing things, like amazing text overall. I'm surprised it didn't, but realistically, it's never gonna happen. Like, some of these effects don't happen. Like, my opponent's not gonna play free cards when it's gonna die, right? Like, unless it's a complete mistake. And then sure, we can bring him in just to use this special ability, but it's still more expensive than the rest of them. So Physalis is a good one that saw a lot of play, still sees a lot of competitive play, and the premium bullet is just icing on the cake. Deal 10k, and then the owner discards a card. Yeah, it's like, I'll pay crystal and then 2, kill and then discard, kill and then discard. I can do that like all day. the lid too, which I like in multicolored decks as well. So I enjoyed this as an engineer. This card is awesome play, and then in a few other lists too. So having access to this a little easier makes more sense, makes her more playable, right? Like Glaciella could bring a lot of these cards into the more playable. Like Conshura is probably the tougher one because it's going into the lightning and it's off color, but and also a little bit more overshadowed by the rain, right? But until the turn, all the forwards your opponent controls lose 4,000, and then Conshura gains first strike, and Conshura can attack once more. So you would have to attack and then use it, and then whatever. Kitone, and then Chazelle is terrible. Don't even worry about him. Choose a damage forward, break it. There's cheaper options and backups anyway. Mont Leonis is one that I thought was very interesting. This card reads really well, and saw a very, very small amount of play, I think, overall over the last set. His ability is the cheapest so far, right? It's literally just S. So if you're able to rack up enough crystals between Earth and Water, which I believe have the highest number of crystal generators across the colors, not excluding like cards that can generate multiples, right? Like I'm talking about like spot generating, like because Agris and Soul are probably some of the ones that we would consider like to generate the most crystals, or that can generate the most. But either way, like if I play him, if he's out and I play her, if I don't already have a crystal, she generates one for him to have an attack with. And when he attacks, he can just start dealing that 9,000. And while he's attacking, you can do it multiple times. So, if the board is, if he's got a big board, let's say they're all even at 18k, right? As long as you have the crystals, you could just keep killing them, right? As long as before you go to block step, it's a really good idea. It's a really good concept anyway. So yeah, and there is going to be more FFB stuff. We already saw with Zet, the king or whatever. I can't remember his name. He's got a funny name too. But I guess it's her dad. Yeah, he also has to do with crystals, but we'll talk about that more in like the spoilers video. Yeah, it's just a lot of options, a lot of current options that I like, right? Strong cards. Again, really sweat in the rain. Yeah, we can go. The only other thing I kind of want to point out here, which I'll talk to more in my pros and cons, but the searchers are a little weird for me, right? Axstar, Sildras, Mog, and Merlwyb, right? So Mog and Axstar, Axstar's situational, and then Mog's off color as well, which I don't think really, synergizes well with it, even though we want to get her out on the field as fast as possible. So I'm forced to like add her to my Soldier searches, or dedicate the Merlwyb to her. So it might be tougher, to hold on to her. Also, the competition in the same color, like all of these cards are great use of crystals, and so. As much as I like the idea of her, I think one of her downsides is that she shares a lot of, great space in a deck with some of these other cards. I put Atomizer just because we don't always cast it for one, but we could, right? And you have to decide. I know she's removal on her own, right? If you have enough, she's not going to not be able to kill stuff for the most part. I'm pretty sure she'll always kill something once a game because assuming you have a crystal, she comes in. If they try to stop her from gaining the crystal with Amaterasu or something, right? Because she'll die to that. You'll be able to, respond with her ability to kill stuff on the way out if you have a crystal, right? Again, so just an idea, something to think about. I'm going to go into pros and cons real quick. Right, so pros and cons. Self-sustained, like I said, she can. Pro is self-sustained. She generates a crystal for herself. So even if you're behind and your backups haven't done anything, or you haven't seen any, she gives you the option to do that. Right, she does one at least. Her next thing is has options. Like I said, we have a few different colors already, and her searchers are across a few other colors like fire and wind. But I see that as both a pro and a con, right? Like those are her options. And we have a lot more things coming up, so that's good. It's a cheap. Her S ability is cheap enough that it makes sense to do, and so that's part of her good thing. Her cons are definitely that she's on curve now, right? She's not safe anymore. Like 3/7s are dangerously it's just a bad place for forwards to be, right? Like a lot of things can pick you off now, and a lot of what we thought was what used to be good and like something you can build through or like survive a few turns, it's kind of gone out the window now. So the on curve concept needs to be higher for some of the like really good cards that are out there. So I already mentioned the searches are off color and how they might have competition like when it's earning its deck spot, right? Obviously, if you're catering more to her, then the other ones won't matter. But if you're using crystals in general, you kind of want to keep your options open to do something, right? So it's always crystal management that's part of the issue for some of these cards. And so those are, pretty much where we are on the card itself. Lastly, it is someone returning character who never leaves Moogles far behind. We know that there is a Sarah legendary, and I'm going to put that up for you guys. And so we don't know what she does, but I'm pretty sure we always see her Moogle. She always comes with a Moogle. There's her original, like one of her starter deck cards, like search Moogles and activated Moogles. I'm pretty sure it's Sarah. It's kind of like an easy one, but if it's not, if you have any other guesses or it could be anything else, please just leave it in the comments for me and let me know. Yeah, that's it, guys. Tell me what you think. I would like to hear some other crazy ideas that popped into your head. Last week we got a really good one for Hien, so thanks for sharing those, and I'll see you guys next time.